I'm so excited to finally talk about these books with you. Hi friends, it's Trinity, and today I am going to be talking about the books that I read in January. One of my New Year's goals was to read more this year, and I'm doing pretty good so far. I read 6 books in January. Now let's get right into it because I have so much to say. We're gonna start with the first book that I read this year, and that is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. Now, this book... So this book follows Phoebe, who is a true crime junkie. She goes to Florida to help clean out her dad's house, who had just passed away a couple months ago. Now the neighbor, his name is Sam, and she's a bit sus of him. He's either just a really nice guy, and she's not used to that, or he's a serial killer. This book is only told in Phoebe's perspective, so we're like inside her head the whole time while she's analyzing every move that this guy makes. I honestly wish we got more of Sam because I honestly feel like I didn't really connect with him. Like, I barely knew the guy. I loved Phoebe's personality. She's very funny and sarcastic, but she does struggle with the idea of love and what that really means to her because of her past. With that being said, this is very much reverse Grumpy Sunshine. I would say if you're into true crime, honestly give this book a chance because there were a lot of references and you might end up enjoying this book. There are definitely a lot of funny moments and some cute moments. It was an overall good read. I rated this book a 3.5 stars. It's also the first book that I tabbed for the first time. So that was cool. That was fun. Tabbing is fun. You should try it if you don't. Okay, the next book. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I feel like everyone knows about this book, so I don't really need to explain it that much, but I'm gonna give you a quick summary. Lena needs a date to her sister's wedding because she don't want to go alone. She don't want her family to judge her. Here comes Aaron Blackford, her literal work enemy. He's basically like, I'll go to Spain with you, I'll be your fake boyfriend, I can pull it off, take me with you. And she's like, no. But then she ends up saying yes because she really needs a date. So they end up going to Spain together and so much happens and he's just the perfect fake boyfriend. Aaron Blackford literally has my heart. Just letting you know. This is definitely a slow burn and it was great, but I think one of the only problems I really had with this book was that I just felt like it was so long. Like, I feel like we just went through too much. By the end of the book, I found myself just kind of like skimming through the last couple of pages because I already felt like I knew what was gonna happen. This book literally has way too many tabs. Like, I tabbed this junk up. Okay, the next book I'm gonna talk about. It wasn't my favorite, to say the least. Next book I read was Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. First, before I say anything, let's just appreciate how beautiful this cover is. I absolutely love it so much. This book is told in dual perspective between Ruby and Morgan. Morgan just switched to Ruby school at the end of the semester, so everyone's like, who's this new girl? Who is she? What's she doing here? Nobody switches schools at the end of the semester. But she switched because her last school was not very LGBTQ ally, and so she decided to leave. Something I did really appreciate about this book was how open Morgan was to caring about LGBTQ rights, and you can see that throughout the entire book. She's also a track star, and you can also see that in this book because she runs a lot. And now there's Ruby. Her mother forces her to do pageants, which Ruby kind of grew out of a while ago. Whereas Morgan is very open about her sexuality, Ruby is still figuring herself out, and she realizes that she has feelings for Morgan. Coming out for her isn't as easy as it is for Morgan, so there's a lot of self-discovery in this book. Honestly, this book is a lot of figuring out feelings and going through challenges of being a teenager. I gave this a 2.5 stars. I just kept having to remind myself that this is a high school romance and that they were young, and so I had to kind of switch my mind to like a teenager's perspective to kind of see where they were at. But even then, their communication sucked. And I hated that about this book. Also, I just didn't like Morgan's vibe because she just didn't understand why other people couldn't be out the way she is. And so that was kind of annoying because she just kept like getting frustrated with other people. But yeah, the cover's nice. And the next 3 books are all by Emily Henry. The first one that I read was Beach Read. And oh my gosh, I loved this book so much. This was my first 5-star of the year. This follows Gus and January, who are both authors, both in a creative slump, and so they decide to switch genres. January is challenged to write literary fiction, whereas Gus is challenged to write romance. And so they both take each other on trips so they can spark inspiration for their stories. I absolutely loved the banter between these two characters. And although this story was told in only January's perspective, I felt so connected to both characters. And something I really enjoyed about this book was that Emily Henry titles each chapter. For example, the first one is called The House. And I love when authors do that because it literally feels like I'm reading episodes. In my head, I'm picturing an episode, you know? I didn't want this book to end at all. Oh, I loved it so much. Gus also has my heart, by the way. Next book I read was People We Meet on Vacation, and oh my gosh. This book follows Poppy and Alex, and their friendship is just so cute. That is until 2 summers ago, they end their friendship over a summer trip, and throughout the book we have no idea what caused it. So this book is told in past and present perspective, so we see the summers leading up to their last summer together, and in present day when they decide to, 2 years later, go on a trip together. I was so invested in this book, like I loved it so much, until I got to the end. When I found out the reason that they originally broke their friendship 2 summers ago, I was very underwhelmed. But overall, I did really enjoy this book, and I tried not to let that like stop me from enjoying it. So I did still give it like 4.5 stars. I thought it was great. I loved it. I love Poppy and Alex. This was also one of those books that I just could not put down. It was extremely fast paced, so I just wanted to keep reading it. And the last book, Book Lovers. Now, I'm not actually done with this book yet, but I will be by the end of this month. I'm on page 130 right now, and I am loving it. Like, I am eating this book up so far, and I didn't even think that I would be eating this book up, but apparently it won like Book Reads Book of the Year 2022. I didn't know that, but now I'm seeing why. Like, I'm definitely feeling the vibe. And because I'm not done with this book yet, I'll go ahead and insert a clip of future me after she finishes reading this book, just so you could feel how I feel about this book. I feel like I'm gonna like it. 5 stars. This book was just so good. I can't put into words how much I loved this book. I'll give you a quick summary of what it's about. Nora is a literary agent, and she's a very much independent woman, keeps to herself. She really cares about the people that she loves. So when her sister Libya asks to go on like a girls trip to a small town, she's like, okay, whatever to make you happy, basically. In the small town, she runs into Charlie, who is an editor, and they met before, but not on a good foot. They keep running into each other in the small town, and it's just not a coincidence. They're not even the main part of this book. Forget about that. The relationship that Nora has with her sister is just... it's so cute. I love it so much, and I connected so much to her and how much she cares for her sister, because I have sisters, so it really hit me right in my feels. I found myself tearing up and getting so many goosebumps towards the end. I should have been able to predict what was gonna happen at the end, but I didn't. But when the ending finally came, it all just made perfect sense. Like, that would happen, you know what I mean? Anywho, I'm done ranting. This book was amazing. 5 out of 5. Highly recommend. Go read it now if you haven't. You won't regret it, and if you do, And those are all the books that I read in January. It was such a good reading month, and I feel like I picked a good bunch to start the year off with. It definitely helped fuel my motivation to read more, you know what I mean? I'm just so excited to keep this book journey going. If you would like to be part of it, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a book video from me. Thank you so much for watching this video and watching me fangirl over some of these books. After seeing this video, I think you know which ones that you need to read if you haven't yet. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Videos. True crime. Love him. So I read it. Oh.